Okay, should be going live right about now. We'll wait just a couple minutes for some people to start joining in here. And then we can start talking about our goals, our dreams. So what is the goal of this stream? What is the goal of right now? Well, for the next 2 hours, my goal is to not want to kill myself because of this headache. I'm just kidding. But seriously, I do want to shove I do want to shove this file in my temple. Headache is not going away. Migraine, I would say. But we shall endeavor to keep going. Hey Trico, Gavin, Thomas, Neil, what's going on? So, we have this, spray painted a base coat just to see how evenly things are. Looks pretty good so far. Do have some things that we need to work out, but it's looking good so far. And honestly, just like this, if I were to go in and cast this, there's some like odd, I don't know if like moisture, like water got on there and then it evaporated and left some voids. I don't know. But honestly, like just leaving it like this really would be okay for a foam casting. But I just want to get this as neat as I can. So those of you not in the know, this is a giant dart head to go start a series of giant dart heads. They take a lot of work because this started off as a 3D printed master, and I'm sanding this away. The inner pockets are really what's kind of getting to me. I also kind of screwed this one up because I put a coating on it that was supposed to make it smoother, and it really didn't help. It kind of made things worse. Knowing what I know now, I probably will just hand sand them from now on and screw that because it just made more work for me. Hey Ryan, what's up? Hey. I'm not sure if that person wants me to convey who they are, but I will not say a thing. But hello, Ben. Can I DM you for integration input later? As long as you condense it into as minimal messages as possible. So let's go ahead and start off. We're supposed to be working on this, but we will get to that a little bit later. I just want to see how much I can sand of this. I went a little crazy with the with the spray paint. There's some drips, but it's not that big of a deal because it's just the coat to show us where we are. It's mostly gonna get sanded off anyway, so. And I'm sure it will clog up our sandpaper. So Asian Spice has dropped in once or twice. She is my sister. I wasn't sure if she wanted me to say anything, but yes. Secrets revealed. Dun dun dun. It's gonna be difficult for Gavin. It's too much to ask of him. Asian Spice, your dad. No, close. I should probably wear... Oh no, do we have a new overload? Overlord? No, she's not in the same building as me. I might want to wear a mask, actually. And let's see how long I can go without cancer. Place your bets now. Hey Dragon, what's up? Close. What? No, I mean physically. Like you're not in the same building. Oh, what is going to do? Found roughly a hot dog eating contest? What? Found you ruffling the hot dog eating... Ruffling... What? Are you talking to me? I said dragon! Who knows me? I don't have to ask. I freaking said something as soon as you joined. Maybe you should pay attention to me. Oh! Okay. Trying to focus here. Why do you look like you got an afro? I have no idea who you're talking to, Gavin. If you're talking to me, the joke is going right over my head. I know, I'm not saying I didn't ask. I didn't have to. Oh, okay. Oh, Ben noticed me. Okay. Yeah, I see. Not morons. See ya. Don't be a stranger. Thanks for dropping by. What grit of sandpaper are you using? 120. I should probably be using something a little bit rougher because I'm just sanding away the paint right now, and it's going to clog up my sandpaper rather quickly, but that's probably her. There's like clumps on it and everything, yeah. Let me see what that text is. Straight up trying to roast me. Maybe you should pay attention. I don't need to pay attention. I need to learn how to read. Yeah, I usually start with 120 and then go to, like, I want to say that I take it to like 220, but more often than not, I just take it to 300 wet sanding. It doesn't really seem to need more than that. Because I by the time I get all my coats of paint on and everything else, it really doesn't need anything more than that. There's more variances in other parts, you know what I mean? Hey Squid, what's up? What's going on? I have a feeling this is going to use a lot of sandpaper. Just a feeling. And it's like every time I'd get close to like making something smooth on here, a little tiny bit of it would just peel up and delaminate, and it would ruin the entire finish. That's really annoying. That's unbelievably annoying. It's happened to me several times, and I just can't seem to get past it. It's really annoying. I'm never using this stuff again. Have you ever used Rub and Buff for weathering? I've used it before, but I try to avoid it because Rub and Buff is wax-based, and I can't put a clear coat over it, or I can't put a proper clear coat over it. But I have used it before. I used to build props before this, so I am familiar. This is like the worst shape that I could possibly ask to try to sand. This is not ideal. What's going on? I'm not even sure how I'm supposed to get in here. Does not compute. Definitely pulled in here a little bit, starting to show signs of that. Perfectionist nightmare, yeah. Okay. Just a little bit more and I'll be fine. I'll just kind of do the best I can. At the end of the day, that's all you can ask of anyone. So I got a laundry list of things to do before Monday. I want to start painting the blaster either Sunday or Monday. That will give me plenty of time to do all the painting. I'm assuming it's going to take about a week to paint. Because I try to do 2 days in between colors to let them cure properly. And I'll need to do the primer, wait 2 days. The light gray, wait 2 days. The dark gray, wait 2 days. And then clear coat. So, primer, 2 days. Light gray, 2 days. Dark gray, 2 days. And then clear coat, and then I can just start working on that the day after. So, yeah, about 7 days. Yes, I know. I get them a week early because I'm subscribed to Rooster Teeth's first membership. If you like Rooster Teeth stuff or anything in the Let's Play family being like Screw Attack, if you like Death Battle, their podcast is actually pretty good. Their podcast is actually the only one podcast of any of them that I watch consistently. Every now and again, not really as of late, I'll watch a Rooster Teeth podcast. And I used to watch the off-topic one when they came out, but I've kind of stopped watching those. But the Death Battle cast, I actually watch pretty much all of them. But anyway, as I was saying, their first membership is a decent price, and like I watch them more than Netflix, and I'm subscribed to Netflix, so I figure, you know, I might as well support them. I like what they do, so I get like Minecraft episodes a week early and stuff like that. Not to mention their exclusive stuff is actually pretty good. They have Achievement Hunters, which they have this thing where it's like pilot episodes where they're just like testing stuff. They just came out with it recently, and one of them is Achievement Hunters, where they went into a like an actual haunted place. That was freaking hilarious. That's one of the best things they've come out with in a while. So I've been catching small bits of build progress, but I'm not sure what piece you're working on. So this is the blaster itself. We need to work on that, but this is something that we've kind of picked up as a side project. I'm not changing the title of the episode just because we are going to start working on this. But there's no point in this is a dart head, and it's eventually going to be cast in foam, hopefully in time for N-War, but we will see. Does anyone like horror sci-fi genre? If you're talking about video games, yes. If you're talking about movies, I tend to stay away from horror movies because they're kind of corny, and horror video games tend to be so good that they kind of blow everything out of the water in terms of movies. The only real horror, and it's not even really horror, it's a thriller more or less, movie that I've liked recently was The Quiet. That actually wasn't bad, but it wasn't really horror, it was just kind of thriller. This is going to take forever. Whatever. Nothing I can do but suck it up and do it. Quit complaining. Giant waffle. So go to my 6-inch series of darts. I have a relatively minorly famous giant dart that I've gotten people from now all over the world to sign, because I've got Ryan and Alex from Make Test Battle. So I'm pretty proud of that. The people that I would like to get, like kind of like my bucket list of people to get on that dart, is Psych, Foam Data Services. I still need Justin from Make Test Battle because he didn't come to NWAR last year. There's a few others, but those are the people on the top of my list. Hey RZ, what's up? Did some work on Malice today. That's good. I'm going to go through a copious amount of sandpaper here. I'm gonna have to answer that text message here in a sec. Big worker dart next? I would like to, believe it or not. Give me one sec, guys. It's Heather. Hold on one sec. Big BSP cage when? In your dreams. The giant waffle one I am. The elite one I'm never going to, most likely, because I kind of made that as a one-off. I did a half-ass 3D printed mold that was a one-off, and it didn't come out perfect. It didn't come out 100% the way I wanted to. There's a seam line and stuff like that, and different things like that, but kind of the exclusivity of having the foam elite dart. But these I'm finally selling. Yeah, it is, but it lets you see your flaws more than if you didn't, so... Sanding in general is a pain in the ass, which is why most YouTube modders don't do it. Because you can't put out any content when you know, only put out one blaster a month. Or, you know, they say they sand, but they sand their blasters. The only ones I can vouch for, like, definitively are me, Ryan, and Nick. Like, we actually sand our blasters, like, inside out. Not inside, but, you know, virtually inside and out, you know what I mean? But, you know, I'm not knocking on anyone's process or whatever. If it works for you and you're happy with it, then who am I? Kind of like the difference between washing your car, like, you know, different stages of washing your car. Like, you can go through a car wash, which you got your car washed, you could wash it by hand, or you could wash it by hand and wax it. It's, you know, kind of akin to that. And again, there's no wrong answer, but, you know, some people have different levels of need, want. Wacom does sand. Wacom sands as well. He does a lot of integration stuff, which is very uncommon for YouTuber as well, because that stuff takes time. When I think of like high quality in terms of like aesthetic cleanliness, though, the three I mainly think of are me, besides Mr. Nathan. He doesn't count because he's taken more than like a year and a half to finish a blaster. I'm just dogging on him. But like in terms of like cleanliness, me, Ryan, and Nick are the first ones I think of. Of course, that's kind of like in my circle of friends, so I'm completely biased. I'm not going to deny that, but... Just keep in mind that the ability to... the ability to not clog up is because of the water. It has absolutely nothing to do with sandpaper. For those not familiar. This is not helping someone who already has a migraine. Well, again, you know, not dogging on Mr. Nathan, because it does just come down to personal preference, and he genuinely, you know, sits down and enjoys doing that for hours and hours and getting everything precisely perfect, which is completely fine. But like, in my personal opinion, my personal taste is, you kind of get past the point of, wow, you spent so many hours sanding this. This looks awesome. To, wow, why did you spend that many hours sanding this, and why isn't it better? Like, or this is all you have. And like, no offense to him, because I love Mr. Nathan and I love his work and different things like that, and yada yada yada, blah blah blah. But in my opinion, when you've gone, you know, as far as he has, and everything is perfect, everything's virtually perfect, and I'm sure that's what he's aiming for. But I think Nick sanding for 175 hours on a Strife is ridiculous, let alone God only knows how many hundreds of hours he's put into the Centurion. Just my opinion, though. Different strokes, different folks. Can't deny that he does do the best integrations. But at what cost? Nick spent 175 hours sanding Biohazard, as far as I know. Which I guess he did do shell modifications to it, like he made it symmetrical and stuff. But I mean, still, like, that, it didn't even take me, it took me 145 hours to make Glass Construct. And that like, that's not just the sanding, that's everything. That's finished product. And that was not a small blaster. That is a large blaster. It's probably the most I've spent on a blaster, I would assume. It only took me like 70 or 80 hours to complete Ethereal Fortress. I just know for me personally, it gets to a point where it's like, okay, I could spend another 100 hours working on this and get everything perfect, or I could realize that I'm human and I'm never going to get this perfect. I can only try as hard as I can personally. So kind of like, you know, diminishing return kind of thing, where, you know, you put in 10 hours into a blaster and you have an amazing blaster that performs well, and you put another 100 hours into it and it looks nice. You put another 100 hours into it and now it kind of looks a little bit better, but you can't really tell the difference. And, you know, the more hours you spend, the less you're gaining over time, kind of thing. So you kind of have to figure out when is right for you to pull out and stop working on your blaster, or when you feel that you might end up causing more harm than good in the long run, because you might overthink something and think, well, I liked this before, but now I'm looking at this and I don't know if I like that, which there's nothing wrong with doing, because you do change your mind. You know, maybe your vision isn't coming out the way you wanted it, and maybe your vision's changing. But, you know, you got to be careful that you're not just changing things for the sake of the fact that you were staring at it maybe a little bit too long. Oh yeah, it's well beyond the maximum capacity of value. SNFBS is Super Nerf Foam Blasting System. For obvious reasons. Foam blasting system, not firing. Those should be here Friday? Any projects you've ever given up on? There's several projects that I've given up on, but usually it ends just after the idea phase. I have the idea, I start working on it, I start assembling things, and then as soon as I get things together, I get to a point where I'm like, that's not what I wanted, and I completely give up, or I completely lose motivation, like on the Demolisher cage. I started working on that, and then because NVZ has special zombies that could only be taken out by rockets, and I was like, semi-automatic Demolisher rocket, that would be freaking amazing, and that would be unstoppable. That's the tank killer. You could not get tagged by a tank when you have that thing on a sidearm. You know, 3-4 rockets, semi-automatic, bang, bang, bang. You can't get hit. So, because at most, there's going to be 2, maybe 3 tanks, and if you just wait until the last second to pull the trigger and don't panic, you're pretty much good. As long as you're paying attention and people have your back and things like that. You know, that's like, that increases the odds of survival by an astronomical amount. Not to mention it's never been done before. But, then N-War came around and everything kind of changed, the rules changed, and now there are no more special zombies that can be taken out by rockets, and it kind of completely killed it for me. Like, it still would be cool, don't get me wrong, it'd be awesome, but it's kind of lost its usefulness for me, and it kind of killed the idea behind it, and so I just kind of lost interest in it. Another example is the Rapid Strike Hyperfire that I started. I have that in a build log somewhere. I completely disassembled that. Completely lost interest. I realized it wasn't what I wanted at all. Glass Construct. If I was going to have a full auto, it would be Glass Construct, and I've established that I like Glass Construct, don't get me wrong. Beautiful blaster, some of the best work I've ever done. But, in my opinion. But, I just don't like full autos. I used it once or twice, and I was like, that's kind of cool, and then I was done with it. So. I've never given up on a project because it was technically impossible. Like, I've never been working on something and actively wanted to do it, and then, you know, told myself, oh crap, I don't think I can accomplish this. Usually that has to do with, I grew up with a guy named Marcus, and he always had the astronomical dreams. Like, when I wanted to make a suit of armor, he wanted to make one with me. And then, you know, he wanted to have a heads-up display and put in all these electronics and stuff. I was like, whoa, 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 let's come back down to earth a little bit. And, you know, because, you know, fabrication, that's a thing. Like, we're not going to be able to do that with the resources we have. And so I was kind of more of the down-to-earth guy, and he was the dream big kind of guy. And so I think that really helped to balance me out for the future with that kind of stuff. So I usually don't even dream of, well, there, you know, you always have those dreams, but you never, I don't really put any credibility to them because I know it's probably not going to be possible. But as I gain more resources and the ability to use different tools and stuff, you know, like for Pocket Javelin, it's just a matter of time before I got there. You know, like I've been doing that project for 4 years now, and 4 or 5 years now, and I'm just now starting to get to work on it, and now it's completely stopped all progress because I don't have access to a mill anymore. But it's just a matter of time before I get there. I know it's possible. But I've never outright stopped in the middle of a project and given up because I felt like I couldn't do it. I want to make a flat top Rapid Strike at some point. I really want to make one of those too. I'd actually like to do something. I know it's so stupid and I'm probably never going to do it just because it's so common, but I think like a Scar flat top, the one Coop did that was tan, one of the last ones he did, I really liked that one. That one came out really nice, and I'd love to do something like that, but I know I'm probably never going to just because of how common it is to like do something like a real steel. So Not to mention you can't really use it anywhere, and that really sucks. I kind of do it simultaneously. Like, it's always kind of in the back of my mind, the realism, like the realistic probability of me making something. I think I base my thoughts on that automatically, and so it doesn't even occur to me to do something like, you know, a heads-up display, because like I just don't have the ability to do that right now. Why would I think about that? Oh crap. There we go. Get some more sandpaper. Starting a new sheet. Hey David, what's up? But then how do you top load? You don't. That's one thing I've wanted to upgrade on Ethereal Fortress, is I would like an actual jam door I can use, because the jam door on Ethereal Fortress is way too tight for me to feel comfortable using. But I would like a sliding jam door, so I would like to integrate something that was a sliding jam door but not look absolutely terrible, which means I'd probably have to make one myself, like a custom one, and blah blah blah, and that would be a pain in the ass. I mean, I suppose you could still make, you know, I don't see a reason why you would need to cover the sliding door on there. Hey Phil, what's up? That's not what it stands for, Johnson. Ben, that dumb looking Michael. Sure, sketch need relic. Super Nerf foam blasting system. Look at that. Clogged up already. It has like these like little build-ups. Like I gotta get rid of them, but I'm dulling the sandpaper by trying to pluck them off, you know? That kind of works. Tedious, but... I wonder if this is dulling my file. It's probably dulling my file. I should probably not do that. Screw it, we'll just go through a ton of sandpaper. I use 120. This is 120. Then I go straight to wet sanding 300. Leave it at that. I really don't see a point in going any more than that. Maybe if you use thin paints or inappropriate paints, like, you know, vinyl dye, because that's... If you need something super thin, that's nice, but it's not a primer and shouldn't be used like a primer on normal circumstances. Get an actual primer and you won't have an issue. Welcome back, Trico. I can just feel how dull the sandpaper is getting after all of these little nodules on there. And they're so hard to get off. Instant death to sandpaper. I knew it was going to happen though. I'll probably just say screw it and keep switching out sandpaper. I'll probably use an entire sheet on this just because I don't feel like dealing with dull sandpaper or cleaning sandpaper every 5 seconds. If I can get the thick layer off of paint, then it shouldn't dull the rest of my sandpaper too badly, but still got the entire top to do, so. Coop said vinyl that, yeah. A lot of things Coop said. Yep, that's the one I use, RZ. It really does, from what I've seen, it really does depend on your climate. I'm in a very hot, very humid environment 99% of the time. It's 90% of the time it's 90% humidity here in Houston. I like Rust-Oleum, and I know a lot of people who like Rust-Oleum. It seems to be the most consistent across the board. I don't have anything against Krylon, but I really don't like Krylon for some reason. It doesn't seem to work as good as, or as consistently as Rust-Oleum. But I know people who swear that Rust-Oleum sucks and Krylon is the way to go. So I'm assuming it has more to do with the environment. And we already need a new piece. Never had luck with Krylon either. I bet it's good in California, where it's like super dry. I bet you anything it's great there. Good lord, look at that. Immediate. Because it's fast and easy. Same reason why Coop used it. It's good enough for him. He gets the performance he's looking for. And it's fast and easy. And why would you want anything more than that? If it's works for you, you know, more power to you. If he's using IMRs, though, there's really no point in using something besides stock motors. I don't know what motors he uses, but... Probably a little safer, too. You're not overloading the batteries. I use Rust-Oleum in Florida. It works great even in super humidity. Yeah. Using PVC tanks in games. That's why we ban them in most places. And if PVC tanks aren't banned where you're playing, you should talk to an admin and get them banned. It's not about whether they'll hold pressure or not. They will hold pressure. It's about the UV, and over time, they get brittle. Whether it's exposure to UV or whatever else, they do get brittle, and over time, It's not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when they will explode, because they will explode. Discord's fun, you should get one. Oh, by the way, I finally put Wacom's server link in the description, all the way near the bottom, right above the links I have in every video. It's just going to be for the live streams, but I do want to let everyone know that I am the admin there. I basically run the server for Wacom. Have for probably a number of years now. At least a year. I haven't been keeping count. But, that's where you can most likely find me if you want to get a hold of me. If you really need me, you can tag me, but try not to abuse that, because I would like to keep that feature on. I know Wacom keeps his tags off, so don't bother, but he does pop in the chat every now and again. Just keep in mind, I am pretty friendly over here compared to my moderator status, my administrator status. Usually I have a few unwritten rules when it comes to moderating people. If you're trying to get as close to the cliff edge as you can without falling off, you're trying to see where that line is before you fall off, you'll most likely get banned immediately and not even get a warning. If you're not a complete douchebag, though, that doesn't happen very often, so don't worry about it. But just kind of don't be a jerk. Like, if I kind of like reserve the right to ban you, whether I need to give you a reason or not. And I know that kind of sounds scary, but it's usually just for the people that are like, huh, I'm a douchebag. What are you talking about? I know nothing. Oh, I'm just playing innocent. I'm playing coy. You know exactly the type I'm talking about. I don't even need to explain it, but oh, that pisses me off so much. Haha, I'm getting under his skin. Yeah, getting under my skin. That's why I ban you immediately. So it doesn't get under my skin. I don't like administrators, though, or moderators that abuse their power, where it's like, oh, you're making fun of the administrator, then you get a ban. Like, oh, I'll show you who's boss. At the same time, that's no way to run a server, because people aren't going to like me. That's just a matter of probability, right? If you have 1,000 people in a room, not everyone's going to like you. But just because they don't like you doesn't mean they don't have something to contribute, and doesn't mean that someone else doesn't like them. So at the same time, just insulting me isn't going to, you know, get you a ban. It might get you on my shit list, which isn't a good idea, but it's not going to result in an outright ban, because at the same time, I don't believe in abusing power. But if you're just kind of wrecking people's shit, so to speak, and you're just trying to stir up trouble for the community in general, yeah, that's not going to fly. Sorry, kind of got off on a tangent speaking about scary bannings. Still have the inner bits of one side. I did one side on the inner bits. You can see, but then the other side, all these inner bits are clean. Still need to do that, but still need to do the top as well. It really sucks because this sandpaper is still really new, but all the chunks come off on it like that, and it's just a pain in the ass to get off, so it's not even worth saving. Sucks. It's just don't be an idiot in general. Like, you know, that's kind of obvious. Like, a while ago, we had, like, you know, anything goes in shitposting, but and that was more of like everybody else's decision in the modern group. I didn't like that from the beginning, because you can't say anything goes, because then people really will do anything. So there was a brief period of time where like I was admin, but like I had to go through Wacom, and then other stuff happened, and then I just, straight up became, everything goes through me, kind of. And after that happened, I was like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. So it's basically anything goes in shit posting, but like if you want to post your like furry like weird crap, that's fine. Nothing, pornographic. But if you want to post your like weird stuff, like, I have plenty of furry friends. I'm not judging. You do you, whatever. You want to post that in shit posting, fine. But like if you start posting not safe for work stuff, or like even stuff of the same type but with a real person, like there are kids on the server, you know what I mean? Like you want to post like women in bikinis and stuff, there's no reason why you need to be posting that on shit posting in a in a chat like that. So that will get you in trouble, and that's something that didn't go that was not a thing before. But I really don't like that. It kind of breeds not a good environment in general for that kind of stuff. I don't really like it, but if you don't agree with me, that's fine, but probably not served for you. I've been talking way too long about punishing people. We need to get off a different subject. We need to get on a different subject, so when I'm not scaring people. Oh, Hawkeye's threatening to ban people on a live stream. What's the estimate on clear parts? I forgot how long it's been. How much do you want to help me out? I've been trying to prep things for NWAR. I've been casting kind of in overdrive lately, and so the pressure vessel is kind of been on use for a while. So depending on how much you want to help me out, I'll try to get those out as soon as I can. Just keep reminding me about it, because I do want to get those to you. Just don't let me forget about it. You're written down on my board, but I don't look at my board as much as I should. Asian MMORPGs are more fun than American ones. Asians are more fun in general. That's a complete lie. And that's saying something, because Wacom doesn't do a whole lot of banning. You can delay it if you have to make NWAR sales. I'll try to get that out immediately after NWAR. Or if I have a free break in the meantime, I'll try to get that out. I made a second set of Hammershot scale mold. Hammershot scales mold. So I doubled up on production on those, which I should have done a long time ago, to be fair, but I'm actually pumping those things out rather quickly. I got like 7 orders done in like 2 or 3 days. And no one is immune to that. I think the guy who sent Wacom the red long shot, I'm not sure, but I think, like, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, he started like talking big game in the server, like, I can do anything I want because I sent Wacom a long shot, a red long shot. I'm pretty sure he got banned. I know for a fact that he got warned. I'm not sure if he actually ended up being banned. But, you know, no one is... Especially if you're going around flaunting your stuff while I'm in charge of the server, that is not a great idea. Like, that's probably the fastest way to get my attention is you're like, oh, I can do anything I want because blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, now I'm probably going to ban you just on principle. Now it kind of doesn't matter if you did anything or not. He got warned for saying he should have VIP. It was definitely more than suggesting that he should have VIP. He's still there, if I recall, just not active. Sounds about right. I know he got close. I don't know what was revealed to the public, but I know in the moderator chat there was a lot of talk. I don't remember these things. I also generally try to let the moderator who first dealt with the situation deal with it from then on out. And I wasn't the first one to strike there, so I'm not 100% sure on the entire thing. Usually because I don't have the full story. And it's just easier for me to say, you deal with it. I trust your judgment. You know, that and if I dealt with every single altercation that went down there, I would not have a life. We're getting close. We're getting close. We have 3 more of these vents. And then the top. We need another piece. VIP club. Let's keep this over here. Let's cut this into smaller pieces here. So after I sand this, I'll probably do one last light coat of paint. Because I freaking caked this on when I first did it because I'm trying to get coverage. This next one I'm not trying to get coverage. I'm just going to you know, get it well covered. I know that sounds counterintuitive or counter to what I just said, but you know what I mean. If I'm missing one tiny spot, it doesn't matter. It's not the final product. I'm just trying to get it smooth. I'll wash it and stuff, but the spray paint will kind of do one last evening of everything out and kind of keep the dust down. And it's not super critical if I miss a tiny little spot or something. I'm going to be... I'm assuming that's sneezing. I'm going to be sneezing magenta for the next week at this point. Should probably be wearing a mask. I should be wearing a mask too, but... Yeah, never mind. I see your point. You should be wearing a mask, as he says without a mask. Literally sanding paint the same as you're doing. What a hypocrite. Hashtag do as I say, not as I do. Hashtag what irony. I did want to work on the blaster at some point, but I'm actually kind of getting into working on this. And it's like I know I need to get this out now while I feel like sanding this, because like that's always the thing with me and a lot of people. Actually, I know Ryan was just talking about this. Like if you feel like sanding something, just do it. Don't think about it, because by the time you think about it and by the time your brain processes the fact that you want to sand this and you're like, okay, I guess I should do this, it's going to be over. The feeling's going to be gone. And you're going to not feel like sanding anymore. And you won't. Unless you have an extraordinary amount of willpower, which I do not possess. That feeling is very fleeting. So while I feel like doing this, and while it's still a pain in the ass, I still feel like doing this, I'm just going to do this. The blaster is to the point now where the sanding is mainly... Like, I still got a few more detail spots, like inside of here is going to be kind of a pain in the ass. But that's pretty much the oh, and under here. So, like, this entire front part is a pain in the ass, but pretty much everything else is just straight up sanding, and I can do that with willpower. I don't need to be in the mood to do that in order to do that. I just need one last push of willpower for the front, and then I'm golden from there. At least that's the way, like, my brain works. So while I have this burst of energy to work on tedious items, I'm going to take the most tedious item, which currently in my repertoire is working in these veins, which I have not felt like doing for months. Literally, I've been meaning to do this for months. So it's important that I get this out. So I apologize for the misleading title. I was not planning on working on this long, but I want to work on it while I can. What's a good grit to get up to before starting paint? Usually I just go to 300. If you're using thinner paint, maybe you want to go higher, but like even so, I don't really see a point. I think 300 is just fine. You'll get mixed opinions. I know people that go up to 600. I know people that go up to 1,000. I don't see the point in that at all. And, like, no offense to people, but usually integrations aren't that pristine to begin with. So, you know. There's no point. Sand till nothing's left. You just sat on your XPZ. Is it okay? The more and more I watch Let's Plays of PlayStation exclusives, I'm watching a PlayStation, or excuse me, a Let's Play of Detroit Become Human. Great game. But the more I see stuff like that, the more I want a PlayStation Pro, but I can't afford it. So I'll just watch the Let's Plays to tide me over. I really got close to getting one for God of War. But at the end of the day, I just knew I couldn't afford it. And now it's like, crap, they came out, you know, another great game that I really want to play. But I'll just have to suck it up and deal with it, because I don't have the money. Gotta be responsible sometime, I guess. Okay. We down to one? I think we're down to one vent that I need to do. Let me touch up in here a little. I think we're down to one vent. And the top. XBZs are becoming rare incredibly fast. I still wouldn't purchase them for that price because I think that's a total ripoff. But yes, they are becoming rare. Keep in mind that they have always been rare in Australia, so depending on their location, they've always been like $60 to $90 in Australia because you have to import them. I do have it. I do have one. I have two. Need one of them. I have one. I have the only metal XBZ tank in America so far. Hopefully that changes. Hopefully other people can get their hands on it that can do more than I can with it because I don't have time to utilize it right now. But I think it's awesome. I think it came out perfect. I don't really like the choice of front fitting. I would have preferred if he did either a 1/8 inch fitting or a 1/4 inch fitting. He left it non-threaded and kind of a weird dimension. I don't know if like he had something in mind when he did that. So I'll kind of have to adapt something to the front of it, which I don't like. I think it would have been better to put a threaded bit on there and then go from there. If you didn't want to use the thread, then you didn't have to, or blah, blah, blah. I find that if you put an 1/8 inch threading in, a barrel can fit right over it with some slight modification. So I would have preferred if he tapped the front, and it's too small for me to drill out and tap it properly. So it's not really an option on my own, which kind of sucks. But other than that, I really think it came out good. But you know, that's half the fun of modding, is trying to figure out solutions. So I guess it's not that bad. I'd rather have the metal tank and deal with that problem than to have a plastic tank and have to make the back part of it for it, because you have to cut it off, you have to glue on the fitting, you have to cut it off, you have to sand down the thing, you have to fit on the back coupler piece, the back cap, and then drill and tap for the fitting. And all of that combined is way more work than to just try to fit something on for the barrel. There are like 30 sitting at $10. If you buy all 30 of those, I will give you the money for it. If they're actually $10 a pop, I kid you not, I will actually pay for them. If you're talking about XBZs. Which one are you going to chop? The nicer one or the beat up one? I might chop up the more beat up one because I don't know what I would use for the other one in the future, which means I want to keep my options open as much as possible. And I don't, the more beat up one doesn't affect this build at all in the slightest. It's all of the beat up parts are completely avoiding the entire thing. I'm going to be chopping it off anyway. So I'm more likely to use the beat up one just because it works for this. It doesn't compromise a single thing, and I don't know what I want to use the other one for in the future. It just makes more sense. Oh yeah, I'd be willing to pay that. And then obviously I'd compensate you something. I'd prefer a trade, like I'll pay for them, but like I'll compensate you. I'd prefer a trade for the compensation, but, you know, monetary value isn't out of the question. Were you just saying you couldn't afford a PlayStation? There's a difference. I know people that are willing to take those off of my hands. Business investment, and because I still consider this my only job, so I have to keep that in mind. I consider that a business investment more than for fun. I can't make any money on a PlayStation 4, yeah. Gavin's is okay. That's kind of not fair though, because I've had a virtually new inbox one. So it's kind of not fair for me to say that, but and if you get those to me before End War, I could probably take them to End War and supply them to local or to United States people. I don't know, because since I don't have 300 to go buy them, it's kind of hard to do. I kind of need proof because I don't know you, so I'm not just going to send you $300. But if you can go there and like send me a picture or something, I can do $300 because it's insured through PayPal, where if I don't get my stuff, then I get my money back anyway. But I mean, we can figure out something if you don't have the money right away. And it, like, I've kind of, like, all growing up, we've kind of been taught, like, you know, people on the internet are malicious, and there are people out there. But especially in this hobby, and like if you're talking in a live stream chat, I kind of doubt you're going to try to steal my $300. You know what I mean? So like, you know, this, you know, take it for what it is. But and you know, with PayPal and stuff, it's kind of hard to do that anyway. So. Alright, I think we're starting to look a little bit better here. And I don't want to like throw it in people's faces because I think that's not really classy. But obviously I have a little bit of a figurehead in the community, so it's not like I really have the option to steal $300 from you. Or, I don't know how I would steal $300 from you. Or like give you the runaround, I guess, basically. You know, like, I'd be willing to do that, and then just like, I don't know, screw you over by not doing that, or whatever. I don't know. Like, that would be really crummy if I made you go out and buy those and then didn't compensate you for that. That would be freaking awful. But I kind of am not in a place to do that because I am so public. It'd be really easy for you to go on Facebook and then be like, this Hawkeye kid went out and made me spend this money because he said he was going to compensate me and then didn't. Like, that would not blow over well for me. And that would be way more than $300 of a loss. You know what I mean? So I kind of don't have the option to kind of screw you over like that. Not that I would to begin with, because that's a really shitty thing to do. But, you know, there are people out there. Humans, am I right? Could probably use old sandpaper, but... If I can get those before NWAR, though, I'll definitely take those to NWAR and try to distribute them out a little bit. And that will possibly help pay for my NWAR trip. God knows I need help paying that trip. I'll look it up later. I'm not sure exactly the number. It's quite a bit though. Where can I contact you later? Facebook, I assume. No, I totally trust you. I would buy them and then get my money back, but being 16 sucks sometimes. Yeah, that's true. If you can find me on Facebook, send me a message, and Facebook should let me know that you're trying to send me a message. Benjamin Ning Tang, NG space TANG. It's kind of hard to miss. I'm the only result that pops up. I'm around all the Facebook groups and stuff, so I shouldn't be too hard to find, but... we're getting there. Alright, let's start sanding the top. It's going to clog up, watch. See, just in those few light passes, it's already started to clog up. Let's start on this side. New side. You ready for this? Watch. And that's not just dust. See, I can wipe away the dust. But you see all those little spots that are sticking to there? It's not focusing. But those are all clogs. Like, that's actual clogs. And that's driving me absolutely bonkers. Store is like an hour out of the way, so I'm not sure when I'll be over there next. Well, it's up to you, you know, if you don't get a chance to go over there before they sell out or whatever, because I'm assuming those are going to go quickly, but if you don't, it's no water off my back. It'd be nice to get them, but... Wouldn't call that local. I mean, here in Texas, that's local. Anything within, like, 2 hours is local. Kept on showing up in my recommended feed. That's good. Can we get another Nightmare Hawk? What? I don't know what you're referencing. Everything is 2 hours plus, yeah. I don't know where you live, but you understand. God, that's just ruining the paper. Will we be doing any? Yeah, we'll be doing a little bit. I'm not sure how much we will be, but again, like I said, I just want to get this out of the way while I feel like doing it. How would you pronounce that? SNFBS? 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 It's kind of hard without vowels. Some would say impossible. Big cities kind of mess up your sense of scale, yeah. And I think that's going to be good enough. I'll put a light coat on it, just to kind of even things up, wash it beforehand, obviously. But I think that's going to do it for this guy. Now I just need to figure out how to mold it. Hopefully I have enough silicone. I actually haven't done calculations yet because I just made some other molds. I did have enough. Now I'm not sure because I had to make those other ones. But we will see. So if you see this in the future, the next time you will see it is going to be made out of foam. If you see it in the future. So glad to get that out of the way. I need to wash my hands a little bit. I need to get rid of some of this crap. Usually I don't wash my hands in the middle of these, but the paint's really getting to me. Just like it's a different feeling. Like, you know, it's kind of like sticky, not sticky, but like cloggy. I don't know how to describe it. It's not the same. It's kind of like a wet, dry feeling, even though it's dry. It's not the same as plastic or, you know, whatever. I've been meaning to do that for months. I've seen a bunch of y'all in the last one, so hello everyone. Hello. What's up? I shall be right back. I'm going to go wash my hands. Oh my gosh, I almost dropped my chair. I'll take this with me, so one sec. Seems that I have been stained with the blood of my enemies. Fingers have been kind of stained a little bit. That's right. I'll live. Dies of toxic poisoning. Okay. What's going on? Are there any other capitals in it, Gavin? It didn't work? What? You either have to be friends or sharing a server. Did a bunch of sanding on Malice. We're about to do a little sanding here. Ta-da! Do I feel like doing this? Sure. Why not? You can also join through the link in the description. Scroll all, open the description, scroll all the way down near the bottom. It'll say the Discord server, Wacom's Discord server. He's in that one as well. I think most everybody who has a Discord and is in here has one on there. So that should take care of your issue that you're having there. Oh, I don't even think I got the teeth. Yeah, I didn't get the teeth on the inside on this side either. So we do have a little bit more work than I thought, but that's all right. I was gonna say, I don't remember doing the other side. Ouch. Yeah, I think they have it set up that way to prevent spam, so like you can't just be messaged by random bots, you have to be in the same server. Or friends, I believe. Or maybe you can't even send a friend request unless you're in the same server? I don't know. I don't know how it works. I don't really add people on there. As a matter of fact, I usually purposefully avoid adding people on there. So just so I can tell random people I have a policy against not, you know, of not using this for friends or whatever. Fuzzy Walrus Industries, Gavin. Okay. I need to get some of these corners here that I haven't gotten, but once we start, it's going to be easier for me to wrap a file in sandpaper and use that to sand on the inside of here, on all these inner parts here, but there's some curves here I'm just trying to get rid of. Be a pain in the neck for the file. Gonna take your nighttime medication. Let's get the triangle file going here. It's a little thinner. I'm still coming through, right? Everybody hear me okay? I've had bad luck today. What about you guys? Can't complain. My day was okay. Dropped Heather off the airport. She's on vacation with her friend right now. And so I dropped her off at the airport last night, or this morning. I spent the night over there because I was not about to get up at 3 a.m. to drive over there. So I dropped her off this morning, had breakfast, passed out until like noon, and then started doing what I needed to do, get some castings done, that kind of stuff. Just using the sandpaper wrapped around the file as kind of stabilizer and getting the inside of the teeth here, inside of there. What about you guys? How's your day going? What are you going to sell at N-War? I would like to get out a bunch of hammer shot scales because those seem to be my most popular selling item. And it also seems to be the hardest for people to copy because pretty much everyone has copied everything else that I've done except for that. So I'd like to get a bunch of those. And I obviously will be auctioning off this guy, which I hope to at least help with N-War. If I don't sell this, I don't see myself making the money back for N-War. I'm sure I can sell it off of N-War. Like, I'm sure I can sell this outside of that. But I'm really hoping to get it sold at N-War so that I'm not struggling with money. But hopefully the other components will supplement my fictional loss here. So might have some other things, but I don't wanna promise anything I don't have solid plans for, you know. You play Fallout? Have you seen the trailer? I've played Fallout 4 was the first one I played. I never got into it before that. I really wanted it to be Elder Scrolls. I knew it wasn't going to be, but I really wanted it to be Elder Scrolls 6. I don't count freaking, even though technically Elder Scrolls Online was Elder Scrolls 6, I don't count that as Elder Scrolls 6. It sucked. You know, there are a bunch of rumors flying around. Obviously, some people are like, it's going to be multiplayer, it's going to be Battle Royale, different rumors, stuff like that. You never know what it's going to be, though, until it's, you know, actually, hopefully it's not multiplayer, because that's already failed once with Skyrim, or not Skyrim, Elder Scrolls Online. So hopefully, I pray to God they don't do that again. Just let the online thing die. I don't think they have what it takes to make a successful online multiplayer. I really don't. So help me God if it's a battle royale. I can't see them doing that, but you never know. Yeah, next Elder Scrolls when? Seriously. I'm doing pretty good. I met my new manager, new coworker. Both seem very nice. That's good. Hopefully they continue to be nice. In other news, I'm waiting on my parts to come in cash. What kind of parts are you getting? Do you like springers or flywheel powered blasters better? Definitely flywheel blasters. I don't really mess with springers all that much, if not at all. I've done a hammer shot or two. I'm not sure if those count as springers. I've done a homemade rainbow pistol, the aluminum one, Cerberus, and I'm pretty sure that's about it. I guess I technically made a clear Retalicon pump thing, but like I did that blind in 30 minutes, and I have trouble counting that as like an official modification. I don't even have it in my logs or anything. Like, I count that as like a slap together blaster, which is completely different in my book. But you know, I don't really like springers. Oh God, this headache. Migraine, whatever. It just sucks because I usually don't get headaches or migraines or anything like that. It always freaks me out. I always think something's seriously wrong because I just don't get headaches. Waiting on Roboman Plunger, the parts I got from you, and researching more long shot stuff. If I was ever going to do a long shot, it would be a red long shot, but I'm not about to try to go out and actively get one of those. That would have to drop into my lap. Put some red LEDs in there and that kind of stuff. I'm sure someone would like that. Everybody's always like, don't mod them, until you actually get them in the hands of someone who knows how to mod them correctly and isn't afraid to touch it. And then it's like, oh, that came out pretty well. It's like, yeah, that's what happens when you actually do modifications. Instead of just saying, oh, don't mod it because I'm scared. Don't be scared. Never know until you do. I'm trying to remember how I did this. I think I used the triangle file. Hi. Just haven't really found springers good for what I do. Yeah. And I have an HPA rig, so if I was going to need that much power, quote unquote, then I would just use HPA, to be perfectly honest. As a matter of fact, I built Alpha Snooper, and that blaster is something else, let me tell you. I love that blaster so much. I love everything about it. It's comfortable. I like the ironically funny name, the ironically funny paint job it's gonna have, and then the fact that it'll just, you know, blow most blasters out of the water without even trying. Like, that's kind of the whole theme behind it, is like, you know, you struggle with especially flywheels. Like, we're at the top of what they can do right now. We're struggling to get, you know, 170 out of these things, and they're flying all over the place. They're not accurate, that kind of thing. We're at the top of the performance that we can get them to. And then you have HPA, where you half-ass slap a breach in there. You know, you half-ass slap things in there, and you have leaks everywhere. You're not optimized at all, and you can easily punch over 200 FPS out of it. You know what I mean? It's just kind of on a completely different scale, a different level than what we're used to, especially if you're a flywheeler. But even springers, what's his name? Liam Davis posted on his Instagram recently, like a meme or whatever. It's like, hard pills to swallow, HPA isn't overpowered. Unfortunately, HPA is overpowered. I don't really, you know, care how much experience he has or what he has to say about it. It's just my opinion. But HPA is absolutely 100% overpowered. Like, if you look at how much effort it takes to get that kind of power out of a springer, or, God forbid, a flywheel, it is overpowered. It doesn't take nearly as much effort. It doesn't take nearly as much strategy in building your item. You know what I mean? And in that sense, it's definitely overpowered. You can't get semi-automatic with a springer. You can't get, well, you can, but, like, you know, to what extent are you willing to go? You know what I mean? Realistically, you can't get semi-automatic out of a springer. You can out of a flywheel, but realistically, you can't get that much power out of it. You know what I mean? So when you can kind of slap together something like Alpha Snooper, and it completely blows everything else I've done out of the water in terms of performance, and I barely spent any time on that, yeah, it's overpowered. So, like, if you're in the Brisbane area and you have, you know, a field full of HPA blasters, it might not feel like it's overpowered to you. But you got to remember that, you know, compared to normal nerfing, yeah, it's pretty over the top. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be utilized. I mean, I'm utilizing it right now, but, you know, let's not call apples oranges. But who knows? Just my opinion. I don't seem to have the most popular opinions, so that's alright. Aw, thank you, Pete. What's up, man? Current favorites are my Caliburn and my Strife. Kind of on the fence about the whole Caliburn and what's it called, FDL thing, but to each their own. I can't help but like feel, this is personal opinion, but I can't help but feel like it's the real life equivalent to pay to win. It's like, oh, I want a good blaster, let me just throw $150 at the wall and get a good blaster. And like, yeah, it's a good blaster, but 3D printed parts, I've never liked them. I don't think they're reliable. People say all day that they're reliable, but yet you hear about, if you actually do the research, you hear about them breaking down all the time and stuff like that. And you know, who knows, maybe you're having good luck or whatever, but it doesn't change the statistics. And then, like, just the whole principle behind what they're trying to accomplish with Caliburn. And I'm not sure a lot of people know this, but like the whole purpose of Caliburn was to replace like what you would consider to be a good blaster. And I kind of don't like that the whole aim of it is trying to take out the personalization of like, that's one reason why I don't like the Swordfish. One of many reasons I don't like the Swordfish is like, and drop-in kits in general, is I feel like it's trying to take away the creativity of what you can do with this kind of stuff. And I know that's, you know, whatever, blah blah blah, that's not what they're trying to do, that's an old way of thinking, blah blah blah, who cares, if it works, etc, etc, etc. I know, I'm aware. It's just my personal opinion, it's just how I feel, I can't help it. So, you know, don't take anything I say as law, but we're on a live stream, I'm just thinking out loud. So if you're watching this in the future and you're like, Hawkeye, I now have a crap on Hawkeye, it's like, oh, I'm saying this publicly. I know my opinion isn't always right, it's just how I feel about it. Well, the main reason why the Caliburn was created was to get rid of all Springer mods in general. Like, not necessarily get rid of, but to kind of make them obsolete. And I kind of don't like the meaning behind that. Thank you, I've been saying that since the Vector kit. There isn't much creativity these days. Yeah, it just kind of seems like creativity for most people comes out of necessity. You know, you don't have something you like, so you make it yourself. But when you have all these kits available to you, it kind of makes it hard to get into that creativity unless you really, really like it, or you had an outlet of creativity somewhere else before Nerf. And that kind of sucks, you know what I mean? It's been detracting away from, you know, people's creativity, in my opinion, but who knows? Yeah, see, that's the thing. They're amazing prototypes, but I feel like with how much they've been making, I'm sure you could get someone like Orange Modworks, who are now openly saying, please give us ideas, who have access to injection mold these things. And I'm sure Captain Slug is smart enough of a person that he could, you know, get them injection molded himself. And God knows it could be crowdfunded with how many people support those damn things. But I feel like by now you could have injection molded something. And I get that, like, you can't have any more updates to it, or, you know, the number of updates you could do to it are limited, and blah blah blah, and things like that. And he doesn't want to be locked into a certain design or something, and 3D printing makes it so much easier, and etc, etc, etc. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if there is a solution. Because I do get that whole aspect that, you know, it kind of limits your updates to it. And it's cool that he's been updating the design and stuff, but I feel like he designed the functional part. Well, I can't even say that. Liam Davis actually came up with the original Caliburn design, but which a lot of people don't know that either. But I feel like he kind of made a functional design, and then the community made it pretty, because that was a god ugly blaster when it first started out. And it's only since they added the stock portion, like the thumb hole stock portion, the whole 3D printed sections there. It's only since that I've even considered it to be a like genuine, like anywhere near a decent blaster in terms of looks, because it was just so ugly before. I'm sorry. But it's good enough. You can say that it's not the best, but for $150, it's incredibly hard to beat that. You know what I mean? When you can just buy a top-notch blaster for $150, because everything about the Caliburn is designed for the masses. The barrel material is not optimal. It's very loose barrel material in terms of what springers should be, because you should have a tighter fit. For as far as I know, I don't indulge in springers at all. I'm just repeating what I've known, since back before I got into Nerf, when I was just reading forums. But you want a tighter fit on springers for barrel material. I mean, it's very loose fitting stuff. Like to the point of air blaster type stuff, but it's not meant for performance. It's meant for compatibility. And so, if you have an oversized plunger tube, you can stand to have a more adaptable barrel, less performance, and you're still getting really, really incredible performance, comparatively speaking. If you put a proper barrel on there, you can get really high FPS numbers beyond what people get out of their normal Caliburns. You see some people, it's like, oh, the next step of Caliburns is brass breeching. No, the next step of Caliburns is to just put a brass barrel on your Caliburn. The ramrod works just fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It creates a seal. There's nothing wrong with that. At the very least, you're maybe making a little more dead space, but with how much tubing that has and how short your barrel is, you're not getting that anyway, which is why it's so much longer on mine. I'm not even sure if it's the optimal barrel length. I know for a fact it's not the optimal barrel length, but I'm just kind of guessing. It shows you how much I care about that, springers, but whatever. Well, I mean, Liam Davis sort of made the Caliburn design, but rev shots were around well before Liam, and Caliburns were just floating plunger. Well, the whole priming mechanism thing kind of originated from that, and I'm sure there are other things that resemble it more. But as far as I know, like the direct priming mechanism instead of a bolt sled kind of originated there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that started with him. If there was anything, it wasn't obviously nearly on the same level as something like a Caliburn, but can hit 330 or something. I mean, yeah, that's just the brass though. That has nothing to do with. I'm sure it has a little bit to do with the brass, but you can easily achieve those numbers by just shoving a brass barrel on there. You can get 3-foot lengths of brass on McMaster, by the way. I, again, don't really know what a rev shot is, so. How does K14 compare to K26? K14 is heavier than K26. I can't give you actual numbers or anything like that. I'm also personally an advocate of it really depends on the individual blaster. I've seen blasters with DRS cages that should have been doing amazing and haven't really gotten the performance that they should be getting. And I don't know if that's like user error or whatever, but you know, just as an example. So I'm kind of an advocate of it really depends on the individual blaster. Which, you know, the quote-unquote scientists of Nerf will probably disagree with me there. Because, you know, if you know a setup and you do it right and, whoops, and blah blah blah, then you can get repeatable performance. Science is repeatable, that kind of thing. But just in my experience, you're going to be hard-pressed to find anyone who can replicate those results over and over and over again, unless you make a production line of something, like the Caliburn. Where you have, you know, one individual remaking the blaster literally hundreds of times. I think that helps a lot. But, you know, you can't really say that this is going to get this performance every single time when you have so many different variances and so many different people with so many varying skills trying to create the same thing. Just doesn't seem very realistic to expect that. I doubt there's a plastic blaster alive that could survive a K26 and a K14. And even if you could, one thing that people always seem to skip over is how usable is it. Just because you have a K14 blaster and you're getting 350 FPS doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be able to use that more than, you know, one round, because you're going to be tired after using it. So I'm going to laugh when someone with an 8 kilogram spring kicks your ass because you're using a K14. You know what I mean? Okay, I think we got most of the difficult parts out of the way. Difficult, time-consuming is more what I meant. But that's all around here. Did the last little bit on the magazine well. I think everything else is just basically flat. Maybe technically the rail a little bit, but that's not too bad. Then we do the rest of this. So, good progress. Lots of sanding, good progress. And please, if anyone's watching this in the future or even watching this now, we're just kind of, you know, like brainstorming. We're bouncing ideas off each other. Don't take anything too seriously. And obviously, we're not saying anything bad about any modders in particular. No matter how much it comes across that might be the case. We're just kind of bouncing ideas. We're just kind of talking. This is a group of what I would consider to be, you know, friends. I know half the people in the chat, not personally, but we talk outside of these things in like the Wacom Discord server. Again, link in the description. So, you know, don't take anything too seriously or to heart. He said this about the Caliburn. He said this about Captain Slogan. He said this about Liam Davis and blah blah blah. I'm not sure who that is. FA24? I don't know who that is. I think I'm going to paint that hammer shot plus get a Recon Mark II barrel attachment red with blue accents or something around, something the other way around. Sounds like a plan. I also grew up on Xbox Live, so it's really easy for me to interact with people online, where it might not be so comfortable with everybody else. Some of my best friends are in Canada, and I've never met them before face to face. You know what I mean? So I don't see anything wrong with having I find it pretty natural to befriend people online. Oh, Forsaken Angel. Okay, I know who that is. If you don't know who Forsaken Angel is, you haven't been in the hobby long enough. It really does date you if you don't know who Forsaken Angel is. Is there an old Nerf logo that was used for less than a year? Nobody has a picture of it. I edited it and made on Captain Sloan this morning. I have a Titan tank with a weird emblem. I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about, but it's a weird Nerf logo. And I'm not sure if I just am not paying attention or if I've never seen it on anything else, but... If anyone wants to play Xbox, Fortnite, or Overwatch, hit me up at NerfPunisher299. Fuzzy Pete giving out his gamer tag. Mine is my username, believe it or not. Look me up on Halo Reach Tracker. They eventually stopped following stats for that, so I'm actually, I've actually done a little bit more than what it's telling you, but if you want to see someone who didn't have a life, you should look up my Halo Reach stats. Add you later, Hawkeye. Not a problem. Sounds good to me. You ever feel like your fingers are about to fall off? Like you're three sanding rubs away from hitting bone. Pete, do you mod standing up or sitting down? Important question. Everybody, do you mod standing up or sitting down? I'm directing this at our mods, Ryan, because he was live streaming for the first time the other day. He was standing up. I don't know. I don't understand how someone mods for 2 hours straight and stands the whole time. He's a freak. Oh, hey, Ryan, I didn't know you were here. It says you're 22,907. Yeah, I'm sure that's after I left. At one point, I think it was for like 1 month or something, I was actually ranked 4,000. It was either 4,004 or 400. No, it wasn't 400. It was like 4,004 or something like that. I pretty no-life that game. I was very competitive during my younger years. Sitting. I mod sitting, standing. Freak. We're judging you. Oh, hey Phoenix, what's up? Depending on your workbench height, I'd say both. I mix it up. Doing squats. You can put one blaster underneath your bench and one blaster over your bench, and then just work on one of them. Squat, work on the other one. Stand up, work on the other one. Now I'm going to buy a standing desk just to annoy Ben. I like both ways. You guys are weird. You guys are weird. Gotta put all of my focus on the sand and... I might actually be able to start painting this thing by this weekend. I might actually finish this blaster. Trying to share a picture on Discord and it won't let me. Any ideas? If it's on Fuzzy Walrus Industries, you need the rank in order to post anything. If it's just in a message or something, it's a little plus arrow. I don't know if anyone from Fuzzy Walrus is in here, like a moderator-wise. Johnson, I don't know if you're still here. But Jeremy, if you want to like post in general or something and be like, yo, I'm on Hawkeye's stream. He said to put me to the next rank or whatever. It will in any group but Wacom's. Yeah, that's why. Or Gavin or Blades, I don't know if you're still here, if you want to tag a mod or something and tell them I told them to rank him up. Because we know that he's a human being. It's mainly there just to keep, like, you know, 27 kidlers joining at the same time and ruining the day. If you tag me in them, I'll check them out later. Well, I also sit on one foot at times, so I don't... I sit cross-legged, but I sit weird, where my foot is like... My heel is facing up, and my foot is facing down, so the ball of my foot is on the ground. I think that's more comfortable than putting, like, my ankle on the ground. I think that's uncomfortable. So I do sit a little bit weird as well when I'm sitting on the ground. Can you do that with producer? Only mod, right? Yeah, I think you can only do that with mod. Handle it, hold up. LOL. Sonic said he doesn't want me to ping him for that. So I basically abandoned all of the cool internals. Did you completely abandon them, or are you going to put them off until after N-War? Or are you just like completely saying screw it? So just tag you and you'll get get me access to it when you're seeing. No, the pictures that you do. When you post them, tag me and I'll be able to find it later. Is no one gonna promote you? I'm gonna have a word with them. I wouldn't mind standing while modding. Phil, you betrayed me. You traitor. But for N-War, I mean, they could be long-term, sure. But for N-War, just going to be the 43 mil OFP cage with Institutos and Hellcats. Yeah, maybe if you feel like it later. You never know. It could show up in 2 days. It could be 3 months for DRS, so you never know. When he comes out with the metal Raven one, I really want to get one or two, but I don't know if I can afford it, to be perfectly honest. I guess technically the rail space is like a cramped space that takes a little more effort, but it's such a linear part that I can just, you know, sand back and forth that it's usually not that big of a deal. It takes a little extra attention, but it's, you know, not nearly as bad as the teeth, or God, I hate these right here. Little arrows. Maybe it would be with brushless inrunners. Sounds like an idea. Night all, thanks for sanding. Thanks for the sanding motivation, Ben. Not a problem. Good night, Ryan. You have a good day. Can we get hashtag Ryan stands for what he believes in? That might be a long hashtag. Also a terrible joke. I'm not going to bet my N-War primary on DRS, I'm afraid. I would not either. Yeah, I doubt Johnson means anything he says. Love you, Johnson. Says, please. There, now that Trico did it, you can just copy and paste. Hawkeye, do you have a stock XBZ? I need some size comparisons. Maybe we can, maybe when the stream is wrapping up. Yeah, I do have an XBZ. Do you need the tank components, or like the internals, or do you need the actual outer dimensional dimensions of the blaster itself? I has both. Yeah, it really is. I need to see a size comparison between the XBZ and the crossbow for reasons. Okay, just give me a sec. Internals, I'm assuming. The XBZ internals. Ben, you gotta see Jeremy's post, it's pretty nice. I'll check it out in a minute. I don't want to check in the middle of a stream though. Little divots in here, I want to make sure I sand those as well. I feel like we're making some real progress. Finished the dart head, for the most part. got all the hard parts done on the sanding. Oh, you know what is something else I don't live stream? The wet sanding, because obviously it's, hey, wet. I have to do that outside, so. So anything outside, painting, the methyl acrylate application, different things like that, I don't live stream. Those, we were talking about that last time. Sorry. Tangent. Like this one? I think the most people have a problem with this one is the grip looks uncomfortable. It's not uncomfortable for me. It's more of a claw grip instead of a standard, like, pistol grip. And I don't mind it. I like it. But, you know, if I was going to criticize anything, it'd be this bit right here. But the hand itself feels fine to me. It's just kind of this thing that kind of gets in the way. But, you know, it's not that big of a deal. It adds so much to the blaster between the cheek rest and the ample battery space, and I like the size of it. I also appreciate the stock being down physically from the blaster. That's my preferred stock location. It just adds so much to the blaster that that's, you know, of little consequence to me personally. You just stand up for a minute. Oh wait, you took your medicine, never mind. It's supposed to happen. Stock below the barrel axis, yeah. Phoenix with the technical terms. When I stumble over my words. The thing on the thing. I'm gonna go for a bit. And by a bit you mean you're going to bed. Good night. I feel like you could trim down the thumb hole. Yeah, you probably could. Like just trim it down on that one side just a little bit. Yeah, I could see that. What was I sanding? Oh, this. I completely forgot what I was sanding there for a second. I've held grips like this. They're comfy for my hand size. And I have pretty big hands, so I guess it might just be preference. You'll have to picture, but yeah, definitely. I'll have to answer that text in just 1 second. But I did get all the panels attached. That's good. What'd you use to attach them? I think that's all the sanding done on the Strife. Almost all the sanding done on the Strife. I still need to sand the magwell to leave room for the paint so that the magazine slides in there easy. Virtually all of the sanding. I'm 11, but I got huge hands. Hold on, give me 1 second. Phone's getting dusty. My fingers feel raw. That's what I get for sanding for 2 hours and 15 minutes straight. No dawdling on this one either. We went straight to work. So I think I might start wrapping this up here. We still need to do the epoxy putty, or excuse me, the spot putty, which we will do shortly after we sand everything else. So we'll finished sanding this, I think we have that, and then all of back here, which we haven't touched yet. We still have a little bit of pattern removal on this guy right here. All around sanding on this guy. We've already done this. And so once we get done with that sanding, then we can come back in with the spot putty. Do a once over real quick. Then I will do some wet sanding off camera. And then I will attach the window. And I'm pretty sure after that is just going to be painting. By the time I come back, hopefully I'll have the parts cast up. And then we will be ready for internal wiring, which should not take long because there's not going to be any LEDs in this one. I just don't think they have a purpose in this build. I could try to force them in, but I think that would kind of be a mistake. So the wiring on this guy should go pretty quickly, most likely just one Saturday or one day or something. If you guys have any last questions or comments, go ahead. And I apologize for the phone, but I have to keep that up because, you know, family over stream. But purple LEDs, I thought about it. I did, but I just don't think it's for this build. But yeah, if you have any last questions or comments, go ahead and start leaving those, and I'll see if I can get to those. Five minute epoxy, yeah, that works. Dear everyone, I hope you have a good time, but I'm afraid. Wait, dear everyone, I hope you have a good time, but I'm afraid I have to go. Goodbye. We're wrapping up anyway. See you, man. Lampshade. Thanks for sticking around. Appreciate having you on the stream. Still need to wash my hands, but that's better than it was 5 seconds ago. Can you give me some live feedback on my pictures I sent? Sure. Oh, and I still need to show. Are you still who wanted to see that? Was Phil the one that wanted to see that? No, that was Trico. Trico, you're still, yeah, okay. Give me 1 second to read these. Okay, let's look at those pictures. Thanks, Pete. Hold on, looking at the rev shot Gavin sent me. Give me 1 sec. Daniel Murray. I'm not connected to Wi-Fi. That's why I'm having so much time. Whoops. It's still a little bit different because the pump arms are technically internal on the Caliburn. So I do see the similarities, but it's technically a little bit different. I would say the Caliburn. You know, which one is superior remains to be seen, but the Caliburn design I think is still a little bit different. Hold on, that's Heather. Okay. Did someone post me? Did someone tag me where the pictures were, or? Oh wait, never mind. I see it. That's pretty cool. Live feedback. I don't know if it's the picture, if it's an optical illusion, but it looks like the barrel is tilting up slightly. I'm not sure if that's just an optical illusion. But other than that, it looks pretty clean. I can't tell if you've started integrating it or if you've just laid them out on top. It's definitely interesting. I've always liked the Vulcan front runner barrel things. I've always liked those. I've wanted to use them in something, but I could never find something to use. Nothing is set in place, yeah. If anything, I would say the handle on top might be a little unnecessary, but that's personal preference, so. Yeah, looks good. Yeah, the Vulcan, well, that's not technically a full barrel shroud, like barrel wings. I guess it could be considered a barrel shroud. Trying to go for an LGM look. Okay, yeah, that works. Let me vacuum this up just a smudge. Give me 1 second. Oops. May remove the handle for rifle style firing, not sure. It's going to run on 3 Fang revamp, so full auto. If it's OMG, I would assume it'd be full auto. Okay, let me get that thing Trico, hold on. Hold on, got another message. Okay. So, I'm not going to bother popping this open right now, but I do have a rough estimate of the inside of here. I'll just use that. There's a little bit of a lip here, so I'm going to have to guess a little bit. But it should be close enough for what you're trying to accomplish. No, that's not the one. So the... Is that my phone? So the outer dimension of the main tank right here is going to be 3 3/8. I don't know if I can do this upside down. 3 3/8. That's going to be the same for the entire thing. The tip, there are 3 stages here. The largest is going to be 0.824. I know that's upside down for you, but you're just going to have to deal. The second stage is going to be 0.785. And then the third stage, the orange barrel, is going to be 0.667. The depths on those, the first ridge right here is going to be approximately 1/4 inch. So that's this step right here. The large step all the way to the base is going to be approximately 0.553. And then, you know, the barrel length can vary on whatever you're doing. Give me one sec. Yeah, I have 2, Gavin. The length on the main chamber right here is going to be just over 3 inches, 3.079, might as well be 3.08. Don't know yet, Gavin. The back end dimension of this is going to change if you HPA it, but if you're just going to keep it, there are 1, 2, 3 steps, including the pump, not including the tank. The first step down is going to be 1.1735. The next step down, right here, is going to be 0.983. The next step down, which is the tube where the pump goes in, is going to be 0.87. And the first step from the tank is going to be approximately 0.709. The next step down all the way to the tank is going to be approximately 1.15. And then the pump goes on quite a ways. I don't have an exact measurement for that, and even if I did, I wouldn't be able to caliper it. So is there any other dimensions that you need, Trico? Oh, the internal dimensions of the basic shell. So I'm going to have to guesstimate here a little bit. That is flipping close. It's like 1.37. That's close. You might be able to sneak that in. Yeah, you can sneak that in. It's close, but you can do it. It's pretty tight. But I think you can manage if you remove some ribs and stuff. That it's like literally 5 thou under, but you can bend the plastic. And if this helps you at all, I don't know where you're trying to put this, but there might be optimal, and then increase the barrel length. I don't know what you're trying to accomplish. I'm just kind of putting it in a bunch of places. If you want, you can watch this video later and just take a bunch of screenshots. Should probably be the easiest. Yes, it helps a lot. Thank you so much. Not a problem. Is there anything else you need? Any other dimensions I didn't cover? Any tips on attaching the barrel to the blaster? To the XBZ tank? Which one are you talking about? Not accounting for deflection. That is exactly 0.87080. On my integration. Not really. I don't usually work with barrels because I don't work with springers of the sort in integrations. So I don't normally have to deal with a barrel. There are probably wiser people to that than myself. 0.66670. I show this off anytime I can. Matoyo micrometer, 0 to 1 inch, goes down to 1/2 a tenth. How many zeros there are? Decimal places just 1 over, so 0 point. Love this thing. My the width of my hair registers 3 digits. It's great. I love this thing. How much was that toy? This one is normally 150. This particular one that's calibrated to certain specifications that are good for like industrial stuff, which I definitely don't need, can go up to like 220, 230, somewhere around there. That's the one I have, but I got it on... These things never go on sale, but for some reason it was on sale on Amazon for 130, and so I got that, which was an amazing price, considering these things never go on sale. And I did check. It has all the certifications that it needs and all that other stuff. It came with documentation, so it's real. But I just happened to get a really good deal on. It's coolant proof, by the way. Very, very, very nice. The barrel is looking for the... I'm having trouble reading. The barrel is for looks, but the way the Centurion shell makes it cut is tricky. Oh, you're talking about just lining it up. If you look down the length of the blaster, find something that you can rely on. For instance, with the Strife, I usually rely on this line. I know that this line is straight in terms of the entire blaster. For this guy, I know that these two posts right here are straight. So if you look down the barrel, or you look down the length of the gun, blaster, whatever, and you can kind of match it up this ways. Just don't forget to turn it this ways and also match it up this way. And oftentimes I'll use the seam as opposed to anything else, because you might think that you know what you're talking about if you, or you might think you know what you're looking for if you go on the side of a blaster. But a Strife is an excellent example. It's asymmetrical. This side is not the same as this side. So if you use anything besides the center line right here, it might look like it's lined up, but it's not. So try to use the center, like you see how all inside of here is not a center line, but right here is, and right here is. So you want to use these two. You never want to use just this one, because this might look lined up with this, but then this one back here isn't. It's kind of like tilted off to the side or something, you know what I mean? So the more reference points you have, the easier it's going to be to kind of eyeball it. If you're wearing glasses, even though you're not going to be able to see the end of your barrel for crap, you might want to just take off your glasses for a second and just make sure that everything is lined up, because your glasses will distort, especially if you're looking at more out of the side of them. But just kind of line it up, tack it with hot glue, and then keep lining it up. If it's off a little bit, you can remove the hot glue with isopropyl alcohol. Take a cotton swab or something, or just literally dump it on there. And the more it takes, like you kind of have to lather it up a little bit. It takes a lot, but the hot glue will peel right off without any effort whatsoever. Even if it's like in a crevice or something, you get a good grip on it, you'll be able to peel it right out. retack it, take as many times as you need to. Once you get a good settlement on where you need to be, then you can come in with the blaster together, a little bit of methyl methacrylate to secure everything together. Then you come back and take off the tacks of hot glue. You can take it apart and then solidify the inside with more of the methyl methacrylate. Just my opinion, just one way of doing it. That's how I do mine though. How do you get it to hold on though? The front is just a gaping hole with no flat surface to attach epoxy. If you have large gaps in surfaces, you might consider taking off some chunks to make it fit better. But if you absolutely can't for whatever reason, but you still like the shape, then what you can do is get some plastic sheets. Easiest is probably going to be polycarbonate. Not the easiest to work with, but it's one of the tougher ones. You can also get it at Lowe's and Home Depot. If you go into the right section, they have 1/4-inch, 1/8-inch plates of polycarbonate. Kind of expensive, but it's going to be the most readily available. Just be careful, that stuff's a little toxic when you're dremeling it. You'll be able to smell it. Try not to. It's not nearly as chemically toxic as other things, but you still don't want to, be inhaling it. It also tends to chip out instead of rolling up. If you get really hot, it will roll up, but it'll like spit hot chips at you, so just be a little bit careful when you're using it. It just takes a little bit of practice. It just feels a little bit different than, dremeling ABS or something. Just note that it, in your head that it's going to be a little bit different. It'll be a little more tricky trying to align plates and everything, but you'll get the hang of it. You can also just try to get the shell working in any way, shape, or form with tacking. You can use as much hot glue as you need. Try to make it so it's a little easier on yourself to take it off, with that in mind. But you can get it to stick any way you need to, and then put the plates on the inside or whatever as you go. That might be a little bit more realistic. You can just kind of wing it. I'm sure you'll figure it out. Nope, that's not going anywhere. This one might. Yeah, that one's coming. That one's not going anywhere. I'm gonna have to try to pry that off some other way. Ooh, I think I have a nick in my blade. That's not from that though. That's from something else. Damn. To try to get that out. I don't suppose I have a piece of steel anywhere. Oh, bye, Jeremy. Thanks for sticking around. Good luck on your build. Keep us up to date. Nope, didn't cost me too much. You think I would have bought it if it cost me too much? I don't buy good ones if it costs me too much. Hey, Kelly, what's up? Haven't seen you in a while. Trying to find something that I'm not finding. thin paper, so work with me. Oh God, yeah, I need to sharpen this. It's getting hung up just a little bit. I feel like that's actually working. I feel like that's actually working. It's not perfect, but it's better than it was. I was not planning on being on this long. We're at 2 hours and 43 minutes now. Definitely a little bit longer than I thought we were going to be on, but that's okay. Always good to hang out with you guys. But I think we're going to start wrapping it up here. I think you guys are probably getting a little sick of me. So if you guys have any last questions or comments, go ahead and start. They actually did it. The Goso Taco group has been advocating for, there's this forest prevention whatever, or forest preservative district, whatever, that's trying to name a turtle that they have, and everyone was spamming Taco the turtle, and they actually got it. It's now actually Taco Top's turtle naming contest. That's funny. Ah, my fingers. GG goes to a taco. Whose turtle was that? I have no idea. I haven't been following very closely. Bye, Hawkeye. Thank you for the awesome stream as always. Had a blast. I thought you said had a brat for a second. Thank you for doing all the measurements. Not a problem. Have a swell night. Hope school and life continues to go well. Have a swell night. Everybody. You too as well, Trico. Thank you for sticking in with another stream. It's the least I could do to give you those measurements, especially since I already have everything. Still looking good for Enmore? Yep, still looking good. Hopefully I can sell that blaster, this one, so it can kind of pay for my trip a little bit because money's a little bit tight, but I will do my best. Hello, I'm back. Sorry, we're wrapping up. Lampshade. We happen to be wrapping up here. We've already gone like 45 minutes more than I wanted to. 2 hours 40 almost 46 minutes now. Thanks for helping us out. Not a problem. Johnson, no. Keyboard's coming up. Means we're wrapping up. Tried to watch that thing and it was actually here where I was skirmish. Hee. Getting real close. Getting real close to finishing up the blaster. This one's gonna have significantly less wiring. Obviously, no LEDs. So once we get the paint on, it's gonna be pretty smooth sailing from there. We already have a cage ready to go. Cage setup has already been done. I want to bring that up, but we really need to start wrapping up, so I'll wait for that for next time. If you guys want to see that, we'll pull that out next time if you remind me. Every man for himself. Alright. Crap. Oh well. I hope you can get done soon. Have a good time. You too. Okay. Thank you guys very much for watching. As always, I appreciate having every one of you in here during the stream. I think most of the people in the chat stayed for pretty much the entire thing. We've been going for almost 3 hours, so I really do appreciate that. See ya, Callie. Thank you guys very much for watching. And end stream.